Hello and welcome to Lord Spring Co YouTube channel, and today we're reviewing the Fifine K658 dynamic microphone, which was sent to us by Fifine. Just so you know, they sent this free of charge and they asked me to review it, and that's what we're going to do. So we're testing out the Fifine 658 microphone. This is a dynamic mic, which is different, obviously, to a condenser. This one's USB powered, and we're going to get this bad boy open. Nice box, a little bit of spot UV varnish on there. Matte finish, looks pretty good. All the instructions in red on the side. User guide inside. Well, these are the proper instructions. Tells you everything you need to know about it. To be honest, I've never had a problem getting a Fifine microphone plugged in on a Windows device. It always seems to find the driver, no problem. You've got the Cradle. Good quality plastic. It is plastic with these are rubberized, and yeah, it feels pretty good. Metal collar in there, and yeah, I think that'll do the job. Certainly, it feels pretty sturdy. And then we have a very good quality USB cable by the feels of it, with some Velcro on there. It's got a little cover on it, Type C to standard USB. The cable's quite thick. It actually appears to be thicker than the microphone that I'm using at the moment, which is a Fifine Ampligame one. So we'll try that bad boy out. And then we've got the collar, which will mount this microphone on here, and that's metal as well, which is nice. Normally they're plastic. Not saying Fifine are generally plastic, but on other mics I've had, these collars tend to be plastic. We have got an adapter in here for your boom arm, or your might be on your excuse the French, what's the word? Stand. That's it. Yep, I'm nearly there, buffering. But yeah, that's really handy. Both look and feel like metal. And then we've got a stand in here, which is very heavy actually, and all metal. The other ones used to be plastic on the top. It's pretty big as well. That's. But I guess that this microphone, the footprint is actually a bit bigger as well. So it is quite a bit larger. So you've got the dial for your gain on the top there, and it's got obviously your plus and minus. This is your mute, which is touch sensitive. I don't know if that lights up, but we'll find out. The dead cat seems to be on there permanently. I've seen these being used for ASMR videos as well. It's got obviously your Fifine logo there. That I think is touch sensitive for your lighting, which the RGB comes out the back here. You've got a Type C on the bottom there, USB, and that is an earphone jack. So I'm assuming that this will have the option to monitor your sound as you're talking, which makes it very good for podcasts. Yeah, so right, let's get it all together and install it. So first of all, what's the difference between a dynamic mic and a condenser mic? Okay, so this is the Ampligame A8, which we reviewed previously. I've got a black boom arm, and it was an Amazon warehouse one, so it's been abused already, but it does the job. And we've also got the K658 dynamic on my old blue boom arm, which seems to be ever faithful. So what's the difference? Okay, so the main difference is when I talk into this microphone, I have to be relatively close to it for it to pick up the best sound. And if I move out of either side of it, then what tends to happen is it gets much quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter. You can do your ASMR kind of beard combing, all that kind of things that people like to do with ASMR tends to be with a dynamic microphone like this. Also, very good for podcasts. So let's swap the microphones over and see what happens. Okay, so we should be on this microphone now. Yep. So the A8 is now on, and it sounds great, but it has got lots of things turned on in OBS to make it sound a bit more sexy as well. But I am very close to it, and I'm aware of that. I would never use a condenser mic, or certainly this one, that close. I'm normally somewhere around this far away from it. And that's the beauty of it. I'm not even dead center here. I'm slightly off to one side, and it sounds pretty good. Even if I move over here or I move to the side, you can still hear it. If you can be at the back of it, you can still hear us relatively well. And a condenser mic on the whole yes, it kind of has a front and a back to it, hence why obviously on the sides here you've got those bars, but it tends to pick up, a condenser mic will tend to pick up more sound in the round. Now I've got one that is an XLR, and that's a completely different sound again, but it is a cheap XLR, but it's has to go through an audio interface, much like this one here, to get the best sound out of it. So we'll swap back. Or I keep turning the RGB off on the bottom with my thumb as I'm squeezing it. Just feels too good. It's like a nice little recess for your thumb. So the difference, I think, when I've listened back to this, I feel like this gives a lot more detail. Now, there is more p, and b. Part of me would like a pop filter in front of it, but partly that's because I'm too close to it. So I feel like there's a lot more detail within the sound than there is from the A8, but the A8 has more sound in the round. So how can I explain it? If you're gaming and you don't mind having a bit of keyboard noise in the background and stuff like that, then I would say plug and play. This one's fantastic. If you're wanting it to be a bit more, let's say you're doing podcasts and you're doing, I don't know, you might be doing an audio book or you're doing an interview or something like this, I think this mic would be more suitable. I think you get better listener, what's the word? You get listener fatigue listening to microphones that aren't that good. So I know that on my podcast, we've tried all sorts of different mics. The dynamic mics, we've got an Audio Technica that sounds amazing, but we have a Shure one that just doesn't sound as good. Now, it's nice that you've got two different mics, gives you two different kind of sounds, but I think I'd be inclined to remove the Shure and add this as an option. But the only problem is they're XLR mics. So I don't know. Maybe I need to buy another one of these and use this just Fifine K658s for my podcast. I'm going to road test this for the next couple of months on my Lords Brewing Co. YouTube channel, and we're going to do live streams and things like that. I might even try it with doing my Twitch. The only thing is where I see this falling down on my Twitch stream is I tend to do driving games, and I've got a steering wheel and pedals, and I'm asthmatic. I tend to sound like an asthmatic pug when I'm racing, so it might not be, with it having the level of detail that it does have, this might not be the best option for me, and it might be this one, but we'll see. Also, just a quick note. We're working on something with Fifine to give you an opportunity to win a microphone. So we will, as soon as we know what's happening with Fifine, we'll let you know, and we'll run, I think we'll do a live stream and give you the opportunity to enter and win a microphone, which would be pretty cool. What else can I tell you about this microphone? Okay, so the thing I like about it, the gain on the top. I love the fact that it feels like a massive boiled sweet on the top. It's just like massive and easy to turn. Now on this one, I tend to, because it's at the back, I tend to go around and fumble before I've actually turned it on. But like I say, it's still very, very good. You can adjust on this one the RGB. There's a little touch sensitive thing at the back. The touch sensitive, for some reason, I'm like this. My hands are like this with everything. Even my phone, sometimes I'll just press it, it just doesn't work. So I don't know, maybe I don't have enough heat in my hands or something, I don't know. This has got more settings with the lights, for sure. This one just has two. It has off and on. But I love RGB. I'm an addict. So for me, perfect. If you're wanting something to look a bit more pro on your podcast, you just turn them off. It's really, it's really simple. The mute works nice. You're unmuted. Isolation on this arm is not great, so I won't start hitting it. I feel like this Cradle is good quality. I know some people have said, it'd be better if it was like this. I will say, on both of these, I don't think they're that bad. I think maybe a little bit softer straps might help, but there's only so much you can do, because obviously the microphone's made of metal and it's fairly heavy. It can't be too soft, otherwise it'll just be flopping over. It's pretty good. It does isolate the sound fairly well. But I watched this. I watched a podcast yesterday, and they had really nice boom arms, way better than these cheap ones that I've got here. And they had the elbow touching the desk, and then they were tapping the desk like this, and it was literally. I mean, I'm whacking that then to get it. You saw the thing in the back peak there, the visualizer. That's how hard I'm hitting it. But every time they just touched the desk, just lightly, it was boom, boom, boom. So if you're using a boom arm, then keep it off the table and try and keep it away from your hand so you're not banging it all the time. Just something I noticed anyway. What else can I tell you about this? It's £109 currently on Amazon. There are some for a bit more through other sellers. I know one person on here is trying to sell them for 150 quid. Would I spend 150 quid on a microphone? Probably not, because I don't have 150 quid to spend on the microphone. Do I think it's worth more than something like a Blue Yeti, which I've used in the past? I prefer this, personally, to the Yeti microphone. I prefer that one to the Yeti microphone. I think it gives a nicer sound. For a bit more money, you could buy a Shure microphone. But it's more money. So for its price, I think it's pretty good. Currently, if you buy it on Amazon, there's 8% off voucher as well, so you can get a little bit less. I'll put a link to where you can buy these. The other thing I would say about it is, I think sometimes people will buy microphones based on a brand name, and for me, I can never or very rarely afford the brand name. I couldn't have afforded this microphone had it not been for Fifine that had supplied it to me. But how did I find Fifine? Well, the reason I found Fifine is because I was looking for a USB microphone. I looked at all the different reviews of everybody, and the one that kept coming up was the 669B, which is the one that I showed you, the most basic of USB microphones. And it's still 35 quid. There's 4,371 people reviewed it, and it's nearly completely 5-star. For the money, that mic is just superb. It's an absolute banger. So that's what got me into the Fifine brand. And so far, I haven't had anything to disappoint me. I know another reviewer said about the USB port being not very sturdy, but this one is rock solid. There's like no wiggle in that at all. But I would say you're not really moving your mic around a lot anyway. And I would advise you to put your cable and route it round things where it's not going to put loads of stress on it, and get your little Velcro tab just to hold the cable, just to take a bit of stress off it. It's only a Type-C USB. You don't want to. It's only tiny. And how many people have broken them in their phones? You don't want to put loads of pressure on it anyway. So that's my advice. The other thing is the cable on this one is massive compared to the cable on this one, which makes me think that they've designed this more for people that are doing podcasts. So it's a nice 2-meter cable, where this one's a bit shorter, but this is more, I feel like this one's more likely to be on a setup where you're gaming or streaming, or like a static setup, where this one, I think they've made it because they assume that you might be on a desk and there'll be, 2 of you, and then it's got to go to some sort of separate laptop. Other thing is, one of the things, so this is an XLR with 2 XLR inputs. This is a very old one. I've got a new one now. This is an old M Audio they don't support anymore. But that one, you plug 2 mics in, you can listen to it, and there's a lot of faffing around. It does sound great, but there's a lot of faffing around. You could run 2 of these on a laptop. As long as you've got 2 USB ports, you could run it on OBS and run 2 microphones at the same time, and you could monitor them because you can literally plug into the back and listen to it. So yeah, I think very simple, very stylish. I like the fact that the brand as well is actually very what's the word? They've not plastered it all over it. Same with the A8. It's very subtle, and I feel like that's very classy. And I think it's a lot of fun. They have a smiley face on their branding that you'll see everywhere. You see the little cheeky smile, and I like that because it shows that they don't take themselves ultimately too seriously. It's about having fun and enjoying what you do, and that's what this is all about, really. Get out there. Don't be frightened to have a go. If you want to get on and start a YouTube channel, go for it. Keep it positive and have fun. And yeah, what more can I say? So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been of some help, and we're going to road test this for the next month or 2 over on the Lordsbury & Co YouTube channel. And yeah, I've been John. Hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll speak soon on our next review or beer silliness. And welcome to the Quack Norris ASMR channel. Just listen to this soothing ASMR.